Today is Thursday, April 16th, 2020, otherwise known as Day 19 of Digital Learning. So let's remember what we've talked about so far. We've talked about partitioning, which is to make into equal parts of the same size, of the same shape. A half is a shape partitioned into two equal pieces. A third is a shape partitioned into three equal pieces. And fourth is a shape partitioned into four equal pieces. Yesterday we talked about rectangles and squares. So your I can statement is I can partition a circle into equal sized shares by using vocabulary such as fourths, thirds, and halves.
So I have three fraction circles. These are called fraction circles. They're for three circles that are exactly the same size. So the holes, we would say the holes are exactly the same size. They're identical. I've taken this brown circle and I have partitioned it into two equal shares. I've taken the black circle and I've partitioned it into three equal shares. And I've taken the yellow circle and I've partitioned it into four equal shares. So we're going to talk about how to describe these now. So if I was going to describe this piece right here, I would say that it is 1/2. And that's how it would look, 1-1/2. So this piece is 1/2 of the whole entire circle, which means that this piece would also be called 1/2. So I'm going to label those pieces now. This piece is 1/2 of the whole, and this piece is 1/2 of the whole. Now, if I'm thinking about both of these pieces, I would call that 2 halves. So we can see that it takes 2 halves to make the whole circle. Now, if I'm going to talk about and describe these pieces here, I have partitioned this circle into three equal parts. So we call those thirds. This piece is 1/3. Whoops. That piece is 1/3. This piece would also be called 1/3. And this piece would be called 1/3. So they are equal shares. There is the same amount of space inside of here, and each one is called 1/3. If I'm going to talk about what I would call all three of these and describe all three of these, I would say they are 3/3. So this share right here would be 1/3 of the whole circle. This share would be 1/3 of the whole circle, and this share would be 1/3 of the whole circle. And then we would say that all three of them are called 3/3. It takes 3/3 to make up the whole entire circle. Let's move on to the yellow circle now. I can see I've divided or partitioned the yellow circle into 4 equal shares. I'm going to go ahead and label what each one is called. This piece right here is called 1/4. This piece is 1/4. This piece is 1/4. Let's turn it this way so you can see it better. This piece is 1/4. And this piece is 1/4. So this piece right here, this share, I would say is 1/4 of the whole entire circle. This share is 1/4 of the whole entire circle, and so forth. So if I'm thinking of all 4 of them, it would be 4/4. It takes 4/4 to make up the whole circle.
Let's talk about our you-do. Our you-do says Mrs. Nunez is making cakes for her son's birthday. She made 4 circular cakes as shown by the models below. She cut each cake into 3 pieces. Which cakes are cut into thirds? And how do you know? So you're going to look at your cakes, cake 1, cake 2, cake 3, and cake 4. Find the one that is cut into thirds and use the sentence stem. Mrs. Nunez cut blank into thirds. I know this because blank.